What's up, YouTube? I'm Robert, and you're watching the B1KER Bar Podcast. You were talking about earlier, like, quote unquote, modern geometry. What is modern geometry when you say that?
That's it. I kind of am mad at myself for saying that, but we need some way to call it that. Because modern's always shifting, and what's modern today is not going to be modern tomorrow. My most popular video right now is how to ride a modern bike differently than an old school bike, because they do ride completely different. A modern bike's going to have a longer reach, and it's going to have a steeper seat tube angle and a slacker head tube angle, usually. XC bikes haven't changed a ton. They're starting to go that way, but XC bikes, you can still kind of use the same techniques as before. But as these bikes get longer and more slacked out, and we're riding trails faster than ever, and we're riding chunkier stuff than ever. We are riding more technical things that are steeper. And in fact, the trails are changing because we're riding them differently, because the speed is just going up and up and up, and bikes are getting more and more capable. And the way these bikes ride, the front wheel's way farther in front of you. The way we used to ride in the 90s and 2000s, we kind of sit on top of the bike and just kind of let the bike do its thing. It was kind of like riding a beach cruiser. Some people, not everybody. But these new bikes, you really have to weight the front wheel. And if you're just leaning back, you're scared of things, you're locking your elbows, leaning away from the terrain, your front wheel is going to have no traction, and you're going to be blowing through corners. I have a lot of people that email me and say, hey, I've been interested in a new bike, but I rode one. It rode awful. It's so much worse than my new bike. I couldn't steer. I couldn't brake. It was scary. Something's wrong. And I point them to that video. They watch the video and they say, oh, I totally get it now. I need to get over the front more. I need to weight that front tire. In corners, I need to not lean away from the bike. I need to lean into the corner. And it makes a world of a difference. And bikes are going to change every year. And if our riding position and style never changes, we can't expect the bikes to just magically behave better if we don't change with them as well.
I had that conversation with my lady just recently, because she's getting back into mountain biking, and the last bike that she had was like from 2006, right? So she was going into stuff and like getting like way back. And I was telling her, like, you need to get low. Like, yes, you do still need to get back a little, but you need to get low more than you need to get back, and she just looked at me like I was crazy, like what are you talking about? And it's something that somebody else that I was talking to on this podcast mentioned that I didn't really think about, is like, it's the dropper, because you can get low now. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't have that. You know what I mean? Like, I think even with some of those different geometries back then, I wonder if getting back wouldn't have mattered as much if we could have got our seat low.
Interesting. I must have. That's one of my number one comments on that video. I must have been totally different, because in the 90s, I rode with my seat down more than up. I'd go up this big hill with it up, and then you'd have the quick release, and I'd cut my seat so I could slam it all the way down, essentially be a dropper that took 30 seconds to change. And so I always learned to ride with the lower seat. And even then, I was not over the front wheel. I was leaning back. But droppers have definitely changed that. We're able to move around a little more. And if all you've come from is high posting, if all you've come from is high posting where you leave your seat up all the way, oh man, there's so many aspects you need to change to ride a modern bike now.
Yeah, I would drop mine a little, but definitely nothing like what I'm dropping it now. I know when I got my first dropper, it was 125 millimeters. And I remember feeling like, oh my God, it's like I felt disconnected because I didn't have like this other point of contact that I was used to. Like, I used to like kind of pinch my seat between my legs. And
a lot of people do.
Right. I have a 200 millimeter dropper now. And if they sold a 215 so I could just get another couple millimeters, like, I would do it, like
totally.
Like, totally. I want, like, I always joke around about this. I want to push a button in. I want it to like fold up like Inspector Gadget and just like right into the seat.
One day. Yeah. Right? We just need levitating seats that are like magnets, and we hit a button and the magnets stop, and then we can get low.
If If you like that, make sure you check out the full episode. And hey, do me a favor, before you take off, hit hit the like and subscribe.